So I'm going to move this over to the left with my live server on the right, minimize my file explorer, and just to make this a little bit more clear, I will change this to a div. And keep in mind, this looks like normal HTML code, but it is technically JSX, so that means there's going to be a few differences. So here, instead of using class, we want to use class name, and we'll make this equal to app. Then we need to title this, so we'll create an H1 and say to do app. Here we'll create another div with a class of input container. Inside of this, we'll create an input element. We're going to leave the type equal to text, and I'll space this out a little bit. I'll make the value equal to new task and include a placeholder of add a new task. Then I want to create a button that says add task. Underneath the input container div, we'll create an unordered list with a class of task list. Then we'll just create an li element and say item 1. So now you guys can see all of the basic code is set up and ready to go, but now we need to make this interactive and dynamic. So the first thing we need to do over here is also import our use state from React. And between the function keyword and the return statement is where we can create all of our functions and state variables. So we'll start off with the const keyword, and we'll create a state variable called tasks, and then a state function called set tasks. We want to make this equal to use state, and inside of this we want to pass in an empty array. So what's going on here is we're setting up a variable called tasks, a function called set tasks that we can use later on in our code to change our tasks variable. And then whatever we put inside of these parentheses is going to be the value of our variable right here until we change it. So tasks right now is equal to an empty array. So we need to do this one more time, but instead of tasks, we want to say input value, and then this is going to be set input value. And instead of an empty array, we want to make our input value variable equal to an empty string. Now we want to create a function called add task. For this function, we're not going to include a parameter, and we need to use an if statement, and we're going to check our input value, and we're going to see if it is not equal to an empty string, meaning the user has to enter something. We also want to use the trim method to get rid of any white space. So if the user enters something, we can call our set tasks function, and what we want to do is pass in a new array with anything that might already be in our tasks variable, and also include the new input that the user just entered. And you guys will notice that I'm creating a brand new array here. That's because in React, state is treated as immutable. So we need to create a brand new array from scratch rather than just appending a new value to an already created array. After that, we need to call the set input value function and just change it back to an empty string. Next, we want to create another function called delete task. And here we want to pass in an index so we can delete one task at a time. So we'll create a variable called updated tasks, make this equal to our tasks array, and what we want to do is use the filter method. Keep in mind, filter is going to return a brand new array. So here we'll pass in two parameters. The first is going to be the task, and the second is going to be the task index. And here we want to use the task index and see if this is not equal to the index that we're deleting. So what's going to happen here is we're creating a brand new array, and we're excluding the task at the given index that we want to delete. And after that, we need to call set tasks and change it to our updated tasks variable. Now you guys are going to notice nothing's happening yet because we actually need to set all of this up within our return statement. So first we want to change the value to the input value, and this is going to make our input a controlled input in React. Then we need to use an onChange event listener where we pass in our event, and we simply want to use the set input value function and reference our event dot target dot value. Next, we'll use an on-click event listener for our button, and we simply want to call our add task function. Now down here within our list, we can get rid of this hard-coded in list item, and what we want to do is use our tasks variable, and we want to map through this. We want to include two parameters. The first is going to be the individual task, followed by the index. And make sure you use normal parentheses since we're using a map method here. Here we'll create an li element with a class of task item. And then we also need to include a unique key for each item, so React will render this properly, and we'll just use our index. Next, we can create a span element, and we want to pass in the name of our task. After that, we need to create a button where we can delete the task. So all we need to do here is use an on-click event listener, and we just need to call our delete task function, and we want to delete that specific item with the index. And what we want to do here is reference our delete task function, and we want to delete it wherever that index is located. Now, if I make this full screen and I add a new task like shop and click add a task, it will render it down below within my unordered list. And since this has a specific index tied with it, we can click delete and it will delete just that item. So I'll add a shop back, and then I'll add something like workout, add this task. So we can add individual tasks and delete individual tasks. Congratulations, you just learned React by creating a basic to-do app. If you have any problems or any questions, reach out to me through the comments below. Thanks so much for watching, and I hope this video helped out.